Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. Today's video is very Libra-centric. And why? Well, we need to ask ourselves, is this the black swan event for banks? So in looking at the positives, the concerns, and the points for critical thinking, this is what we're going to do in this video. I want to also take a look and see how is it going to impact XRP. And why XRP? Well, because XRP is the liquidity solution for all fiat that is moving across borders. And this project really does challenge fiat. And why BTC? Well, because in the white papers, it was the vision of Satoshi to be used as a currency. But isn't it interesting that the high fees and the inability to scale, the two problems that have held it back, in my opinion, have now been maybe the reasons why it'll survive as a store of value. So interesting. This cryptocurrency space never ceases to amaze me. So we have this symbol here, the three waves. You will become very familiar with this. It'll be like a dollar sign. And when you look at the actual word of Libra, in the Roman times, the word was referred to as a balance or scale, and it was also a part of a unit of measurement. And you can see here that this is an actual quarter of a Libra, and it was a mechanism used to keep precise weights and measure. Now, if we take a look at who is behind this in the way of backers or foundations or federation, there's some really these words like federation and the foundation sounds so sci-fi. These backers are going to run a node, and they will distribute these coins through Messenger, WhatsApp, and it'll be available sometime in mid 2020. It'll also be attached to a digital wallet called Calibra, and the tamper-proof record of transactions are going to run in the beginning on a permissioned network, although they say over about a 5-year period of time, they will go permissionless. So the question is, do you really think that this foundation that you see in front of you are going to give up the control? I don't know. The Libra coin is going to be backed by a reserve, fiat, and government securities to begin with from stable and reputable central banks. Capital preservation and liquidity will be kept in mind, according to Facebook, and it'll be diversified in multiple governments. So the rise and the fall of the Libra price will be based on the FX market conditions. And the fact that they are going for very stable government-backed fiats, it'll probably be a very stable coin. I really, really want to know. So this is direct competition to fiat. How is this going to affect the rise and fall of fiat? This is a question, because this is a whole new animal, and the fact that it could influence the price of fiat is a very interesting comment and point of conversation. All right, this is the first initial comment that came out of Brad Garlinghouse, and he said that it's incredibly positive signal to the overall blockchain and crypto market to have a player like Facebook leaning in. I totally agree. When we look at the positives, this is absolutely a positive. But today, I woke up to a lot of articles with these kind of titles: backlash against Facebook's Libra as European government officials call for action. Not everybody is excited over this. And here is another one: Facebook's Libra sparks concerns among European financial institutions. So the million-dollar question is, what are the banks going to do? They basically have three options. Now, of course, they can blur the lines between those three options, but these are the three options I see they have. They can stay neutral and ignore it and just do business as usual. They can join them, be cooperative, and work to try to get their business model and this business model to work jointly to benefit everybody, or they could choose to fight it. And we just really haven't seen yet which way they're going to go. I can tell you for sure that at the G20 meeting that occurs on the 28th and 29th here in Japan, there are going to be a lot of backdoor meetings that will be off the record on this subject. So it is yet to be seen exactly how the banks are going to react. All right, let's look at some of the positives. There are a good list of positives, especially if there are going to be atomic swaps. So if you can just swap your Libra coin into XRP, that is going to be a wonderful thing. The transaction fees are going to be low. That's a good thing. They are going to, or aim to, include the 1.7 billion people that are considered unbanked. This is great. I'm all for the inclusion. It's also going to be borderless money. This is very attractive to me. This is why exactly I was attracted to Bitcoin in the beginning, is because the fact that it is borderless. It's going to start also a conversation about our financial privacy. We have not had enough conversation about our financial privacy, which is, again, one of the other reasons why I love the Elixir project. Then when you look at the perception of crypto, is it going to change? Absolutely. And will it change for the better? Well, as long as this project is nurtured in the right way, I think it is going to change the image of crypto in a good way, and we're going to see mass adoption for it. There's going to be easy on and off ramps. This is a good thing. It's going to get the whole world thinking differently about money. So what is money? And I think this is a healthy conversation. And they say, Facebook says this won't be used for target advertising. Well, I just don't know, because I don't believe anybody. So the fact that it is going to be centralized to begin with, I will shake my head and say, okay, that's a good thing, falls in the positives. Do I believe it? Not 100%. And I also think that the fact that they want to move it to a permissionless consensus is a good thing, but that has yet to be seen. And the concerns, well, tracking your private use of expenditure, I just think that it's too easy for them to do this. And who's going to control that data? And if that data is out there, that data has the ability to be hacked. So that is really scary for me. The fact that it is currently centralized from the start, and that the council is in charge, even though you have to have a consensus of 2/3 of the people to make any changes. This whole beginning portion is all a little on the slippery slope. And I really do question if those companies are going to give up their power in the long run. And the fact that they can also shut down transactions in the beginning makes me very suspect of this project, because I think that anytime they can have that power, that is probably not going to be in the positive side of things. Okay, let's look at the questions that still need to be answered. So we've got Amazon, Google, Apple. Do you really think they're just going to stand back and let this happen? Are they going to join Facebook? Are they going to start their own digital currency? That is also another thing that we still don't know. And that's why these left to be answered are so big. Will the governments try to shut it down? I think that there is a possibility. Because that it is competing with the banks, it's very disruptive. And so I just really, we all need to see as to what the banks are going to do. In terms of backing it with fiat, yeah, well, the perceived value of fiat is a very big conversation, right? And the fact that if this becomes more powerful than fiat, then how does it affect the value of fiat? And it is not a final product. This is a project that is still in the works. And what they say in the white paper is not necessarily what it's going to be. So we do need to see how this transforms. And the future backing, will it have Ethereum or gold or XRP or Bitcoin for that matter? This is one of those unanswered questions. And what about China? Oh my gosh, what about China? I mean, you have to remember that China does not have access to Facebook, so they are totally excluded out of this whole equation. Now, another positive is that it could trigger a wave of innovation as third parties can build smart contracts on this, and other services might be launched off of their platform. But there's a caveat there. Building on this platform could also hijack data that is integrated with Libra. So that's where the lines of mixing social and your financial privacy is, I think, a real scary thing. And will banks allow it to be moved into fiat? So in other words, are banks going to allow you to freely convert your Libra coin into fiat? What happens if the banks decide in regards to fighting that they are not going to allow you to transfer this into fiat? We don't know that because it subverts the financial policies. Since there are no banks on the consortium or the foundation or the federation, whatever you want to call it, they are outside of the financial policies right now. The fact that they are leaving it up to the KYC and AML on the exchanges and the wallets, yeah, I don't know. That seems like that is going to be something that the banks are going to have some issue with. And the inexperienced people managing these wallets, there's only 5% of the population right now that is into crypto. And everybody who is watching this video probably knows how difficult it has been in terms of a learning curve in managing crypto. And I don't think everybody watching this video can say that they have never lost some crypto some way, somehow, or they've left little pieces of it on exchanges that they couldn't move all of it off. I mean, you know, it can be a nightmare, not just the learning curve, but the actual loss of your digital assets. So what do you do about the people who are not very technically savvy? And what happens when somebody missends money? Where's the support? Are they just out? And is there anybody that's going to take responsibility? Who's going to police this? Who is going to audit this? Who is going to oversee the federation? These are some of the questions that I think are really unanswered, and it leaves a big, huge, gigantic question mark. So when you ask me, what do I think in regards to XRP? I think we don't know until we know exactly how the banks are going to proceed. Because XRP right now provides that liquidity tool for banks. And this is in direct competition with fiat. So the fact that we don't know yet, then I just can't answer that question. And I don't think anybody can. I think people who say that this isn't going to affect anything, that they're backing or that they're behind, especially the altcoins, you know, this is going to have a much bigger effect on altcoins that are trying to be a digital currency out there. I think BTC and XRP are in a very unique position and in a very strong position and a very good position because it's not in direct competition. But the fact that XRP does provide that liquidity tool to banks using fiat, and this is a challenge to fiat, then it leaves still a lot of questions to be answered. That's why I don't want to believe anybody who says this is not going to affect my world at all, because it will affect your world. And just think when Amazon, Apple, and Google decide to get involved. I mean, wow, times 4. So we have a lot of things to think about. I'm sure everybody like myself is going to remember where they were when they first read the white paper. I was at the salon getting my hair done, I give, this is kind of a cute story because I give my cutters full reign to do whatever they want to do. They love it when I come in because they are trained by a French company in doing a lot of color technique, but a lot of the color techniques that they train and practice don't work on the Japanese hair color, and so they don't get a chance to really experiment with their training. So when I walk in, I tell them they can do whatever they want. That's why every 6 weeks my hair color changes. And today I can tell you that I have a little bit of lavender, a little bit of green, a little bit of orange, and it's one of these new French contrast colors techniques that they just learned. So it's kind of fun. I like to give them that experience. So getting back to the question at hand, the success of this project, ultimately, it's in the consumer's hands, and they will determine whether Facebook's ambitious product will succeed or fail. Today also we learned that the social market analytics company partnered up with Coinmetrics to provide real-time sentiment data feeds. And the reason why this is important is because since the ultimate success is going to be left in the hands of the users, they are really going to track sentiment more and more and more. And this is one of those feeds that are going to be highly analyzed to see how people are responding. They are going to first acquire this sentiment data through Twitter, but it'll be interesting to see if they roll it out into Facebook as well. We will really learn a lot. Okay, everybody, I'm jumping to the fluff. So yesterday I did a fantastically fun video with Jungle Inc. and we talked about the cashless vision of Japan with their initiatives that are being set from the Ministry of Finance, and they are currently at 20% as a cashless society, striving to be a 45% cashless society by 2025. And we had a lot of great conversation, and I gave away a couple of bags of Kit Kats, and I want to just show you that there is a brand new official chocolate flavor out there. It is called a Ruby Kit Kat, and it is the world's only new chocolate variety to be discovered in 80 years. So this Kit Kat Ruby is finally available, and it is something that is bringing as a new type of chocolate. So you have your milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and white chocolate. You now have a ruby chocolate, and it is very distinctive. It is all pink in color, a very intense berry flavor with a luscious, smooth texture, as they say, combined with an iconic crisp in the Kit Kat wafer. And it's using a cocoa bean that is found only in a few locations in the world. One is the Ivory Coast, Ecuador, and Brazil. So I want to give away a Ruby Kit Kat. And the way you can win this bag of Ruby chocolate, and it's some individually wrapped bars, but it's the newest chocolate to be developed in 80 years. What I want you to do is go to Jungle Inc.'s video and then find out what were the 2 Kit Kat flavors I gave away yesterday. And if you want to be the first person to receive this Ruby chocolate, leave me that answer in the comment section of this video, and the first person to do that will receive this from me. And all you need to do is just DM me your shipping address, and I'll be glad to get it off to you for free. All right, everybody. Yes, do take care. All right, I'm going to show you before I say goodbye. That is a picture of the chocolate. It actually was developed in in Belgium, right? Switzerland. It's Swiss. There's a Swiss maker who developed it. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.